I want to say congratulations to start with, because we are pretty much at a year since you first joined Aston Villa. What a year it's been. How's it been for you?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind really. Just been strength to strength, different challenges, different competitions, different experiences that I've had in the last year, and it's gone pretty quick, but I wouldn't have changed it for any other way. I think it's helped me kind of like develop on the run and just take what's in my stride and just try and see where it takes me really.
How do you keep your feet on the ground, man? Because everybody around you must be like, you're playing so well at the moment.
Obviously my family's a big one. Making sure that I'm still the same, I still do the same things. I know why I got here, so it's just to continue that. And then the manager and the players here won't let me rest, won't let me settle. Because if I think that crept in, I think they'd see and they'd say something, because that's not the culture we have here, and it's not the manager. The manager's not like that. He pushes everyone every day. He probably gets onto you more if you played well, because he knows you can get more out of you, and that's the kind of demands he puts on myself, but I also put on myself. So yeah, it's just about pushing and keeping going.
He must be getting onto you a lot then, because you're playing seriously well at the moment.
Yeah,
What's it like to work under Unai Emery?
Yeah, so demanding. So his tactical understanding and stuff like that is next level, and the relationship I built with him as well, about the trust he's given in me, but at the same time the demands he has of me every day and in games, and what he wants me to do in different things and stuff. And yeah, I like the challenge. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes I don't get it right, sometimes it's not perfect, but yeah, the relationship is very good. And yeah, I just like that he keeps pushing me, likes that he's always on top of me, because I want to improve. I don't see this as my ceiling. I want to keep going and keep getting better. Yeah,
absolutely. I don't want to make your head too big here, but when I was doing my research about you, I came across an article from a very reputable newspaper that ranked you 21st of all footballers in Britain at the moment. Bearing in mind you had Luis Diaz at 20, Bruno at 19. So you're crouching on the top 20. How does that feel, man?
Yeah, it's nice to get recognition. It's nice to be spoken about more. It's nice, to be in the eye as such when playing and stuff. But that comes with pressure, and that comes that I have to deliver. And I like that aspect of it as well, that people are watching me and people want to see me do well and want to see the best of me. So it's about delivering. The best players are under the biggest pressure, because every game everyone's watching them and wants their performances to be at a certain level. And if it's not, they'll come for them, and I want that same pressure. I want to be in that same conversation. So yeah, it's nice to get the recognition, but it's also a thing for me to do more and to show more and to believe more that I deserve to be in and around players like that.
How do you cope with the pressure then? You spoke about it then, it's building around you, but how do you settle yourself down and stay relaxed?
I see it as a positive. I see it as fun, as an enjoyment. Like, at the end of the day, I'm playing the game that I love. I'm just trying to enjoy the game, and I'm trying to get better at it. But the art and the fun of trying to get better is what I love about the game, and I want to improve. I always want to get better. I just want to learn, and ultimately I want that nice feeling of playing the game and knowing I've done well. I want to strive for that. So if I'm not at that, I'm not satisfied. So it's just about keep pushing and keep trying to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your improvement's been so quick. I was doing some more research, and I was finding out a little bit about Paul Tate, who kind of discovered you early doors to a level. He was saying at 6 years old, you were playing against 11-year-olds. Is that true?
Yeah, I was always pushed up when I was younger. That's
6 though?
Yeah, I remember being young, and being, it's like different sides of like bushes and stuff, and one side was obviously the older players compared to the younger ones, and I'd always go through, and yeah, I think that's massive. I know it might seem like nothing when you're 6, but it definitely helped me. And then going to academies and playing up as well, it definitely helps you in now being able to play against bigger, stronger and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good how experiences, you can see how they've helped you when you're younger.
Yeah, and people might not know who Paul Tate is, but he's like a bit of a Birmingham,
from Birmingham,
folk hero,
people know who it is, and it's good to say I've worked with him and whatnot. So yeah,
absolutely. But my question was going to be, he's obviously a Birmingham folk hero. How did he not convince you to join Birmingham?
Yeah, I think at the time, I think all the Midlands clubs were kind of sniffing around.
Chasing you.
Yeah, and I think my dad's a West Brom fan, grew up as a West Brom fan when he was younger, so I think that was probably why I went there. And yeah, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. The academy was so good there. I grew, I developed, and yeah, all the staff and the coaches there, the reason I'm here. So yeah, it worked out all right in the end.
I always find that sort of academy system at this level must be so competitive. Like, do you remember the first time you were like in an academy training session, you were like, oh wow, this is levels?
I remember how cold the dome was there, yeah. Yeah, there's certain things you kind of remember. Obviously you don't remember the sessions and whatnot, but then yeah, certain names that pop up
was there
years
one
later.
Player? Was there a player you thought, oh wow?
There was a few when I was a bit older at West Brom that were crazy to see, and like I used to look up to. I ended up going to school with some of them and stuff when in high school and stuff. So yeah, you do remember, and you think back to the old days, and I'm sat there reminiscing sometimes about how good they were and stuff, and where they are now and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, even when you were out on loan at a club like Lincoln, you were playing like, I didn't realise Brennan Johnson, you were both playing at Lincoln. That is a ridiculous standard in League One.
It's crazy how things come back around and stuff, and yeah, I knew of him when I went there, but I didn't know him at all, and then we got so close and bonded so well, and to see both of us do well is ideal, and obviously we still speak all the time, so it's really nice when friends do well and when you meet at a path and then you see where it takes you and stuff, and yeah, it's an immense proudness and pride, and obviously earlier in the season we both scored in the same game, so it's just a really nice moment that we can share with each other, and it's really nice when you do play against friends and you are surrounded by friends. I think that makes it so much more sweeter.
And you were obviously playing for Lincoln at the time in League One.
Yeah.
How was that experience as a young player? Because I think loads of people talk about the quality of the Premier League, but what was the pressure and the power like at League One as a young player?
I think the fact it was COVID helped. There was no fans, so I think that actually helped me because I hadn't been used to that. So it was, to me, kind of like a 23s game. 23s games, but just with probably pressure of 3 points, but no crowd. So it was kind of easier for me to settle in there because didn't have probably that experience of it. And yeah, it was so good. Our team was really good. We were challenging for the top, and I had a manager that I was allowed to express myself and to be free. And yeah, that was massive for me. I owe that to him because I know a lot of people when they go out on loan for different reasons, managers, a trust element, or battling for 3 points, you might go with the experienced person, which is obviously understandable. But the fact that Michael Appleton gave me so much trust and so much belief from minute one just allowed me to work through my mistakes, allowed me to play through good, bad times, allowed me to be the person I am and to kind of learn and develop about myself. So I think that was massive for me, and yeah, that was a big part of the start of my kind of professional career, and that's a big thing for me.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you've played through most of the England age groups as well.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, being a part of those young England age groups, that's helped you as well? Because the standard of England training must be insanely high.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's big. Sometimes difficult for me because there's so many good players. You want to kind of play with them and you sometimes forget to show that why you deserve to be here. And I found that probably a bit harder when I was a bit younger at certain times. So it was about developing my confidence in terms of showing why I deserve to be here. I'm here as well, just as much as the next person. And some people are more naturally confident than others, so that's something I had to work on. But yeah, you take bits and pieces from people, and the confidence and the ability to express themselves and to try things, even if they work or don't. And yeah, that's a big thing for me that I probably learned when I go away with England, that everyone's all different, they've got different characteristics, and it's just about how everyone is playing so free, so much expression, and yeah, you try and do that as well, and to see where it shows.
Were you nervous your first ever England?
Yeah.
What age were you?
It was under 15, so probably about 14.
14.
Yeah.
What did your family say?
It was crazy how it happened, because you're not sure, you don't know, it's never happened.
Yeah.
You don't know of anyone else because you're the youngest, you know what I mean? Yeah, that was a mad experience. I think it was in Loughborough, and you just walk in and you don't know anyone, you've got no one to speak to.
Who was in that under 15 side? Was there anybody now that's still...
Cole was there, Jude was there, obviously the bigger ones. Anthony Alanga was there, Ted Mengi. It's obviously players go on and do different things. But yeah, our group was really good at the start in terms of all the quality from coming in, and obviously you don't know at the time and you don't know them at the time, but then you see when they grow up and everyone grows up and goes elsewhere, you see how actually talented our group was, and yeah, it was crazy, to be fair.
It's quite interesting because you've obviously been a part of quite a few different dressing rooms now, both on loan, but maybe you're going into England or you're going to Villa. Was there a time when you first arrived in a dressing room where you thought, oh, I'm really nervous here, like this is a difficult environment for me, or a challenge that you faced in a dressing room when you first arrived?
I'd say all of them, but at the same time, the way that football's going, there's a lot of young players in dressing rooms now, so that helps massively. Like the Lincoln one, of course, the first day when I walk into the dressing room, I'm really nervous, but then when I look around and there's 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds that are also on loan, that are also at academies and stuff, it helps so much. And I think that's the way football's going, especially in England now. There's a lot of youth and so if you're young as well, it's not as bad, it's not It's not a bunch. It's not what you probably think, where it's just a bunch of 30-year-olds that's all talking about kids and mortgages and stuff that you don't have anything to have a clue about. It's not that. It's actually quite getting younger. I think the quality of academies are getting much better, so younger players are getting pushed through quicker. So, yeah, of course, the first day is completely I'm scared. I don't know what I'm walking into. Got no one to speak to. Who am I sitting by at dinner and stuff? But quickly, it actually becomes so much easier, and within 2 weeks you're feeling comfortable and you just settled. That's the way it is, and the groups that I've been in have been really good. There's not a bad change room I've kind of been in where it's been difficult, so it's been good.
What about when you went to Manchester City then? Obviously that was a big jump, it felt like at the time, and it was obviously some of the best players in world football at the time. Were you nervous there, or were you here, I'm going to express myself day one?
No, nervous. Complete opposite. That's probably back to what I said earlier about struggling to show why I was there. That was probably a massive, probably my biggest learning curve when I was younger growing up. When I was at West Brom, I was the best player. I was pushed up. Didn't seem to have a bad game. Always doing well. Everything was positive. No negativity. Nothing happened really. And then went to City. Everyone's elite. Everyone goes away on international at their age group. Everyone's the best in the group. And I found it difficult. I won't lie to you. It was hard. It was difficult to get a grasp of it in terms of, obviously, the tactical understanding of football was completely another level at City in that aspect. And it was tough, but it's a learning curve. It's all part of the learning experience. And I wouldn't change it, because now I know how to combat and adapt to that. So it's one of the moments that you kind of look back and think, without that, would I be where I am now? And the answer's probably no.
It's interesting you say about the tactical element of it. Was that a real gear shift at that next level?
Yeah, West Brom, obviously, of course we had a way we wanted to play, of course we do, everyone does, but in terms of the real detail, the real, how much it means to City coaches, how much it means to obviously Pep going up the age groups, how much it means to them to play a certain way, to understand your role, understand your position and etc. And I'd never been used to that in my time. It was kind of me being allowed to do what I wanted to do, and that's where I think it's good for both. I think you need a balance of a structure and knowing how to play in a structure, because that's the way football is at the moment, but you still need to be free and show what you're about. You're there for a reason. You use your strengths, you play to your strengths. So it's a tough gig, it's a tough balance it can be, and then going from international to club and to country, it's hard, it is difficult, but once you get it and you understand it, it then becomes quite easy. So I think going through that definitely helped me.
Do you think there's similarities between Unai and Pep in the way they work? Because obviously, me as a football fan, I think of them both as great tacticians. That must have helped you, having that experience with Pep, to then work with Unai.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously in different ways, but they're massive on the structure of the team, how we set up, how we look. It's weird, because you'd think he cares about certain stuff, but then you realise that it all comes back to the one thing, and it's about structure, and if you're in the right position, we'll do well. If you're not, if someone's out of position, someone not doing the right run, or someone not making the right pass, etc., that's why he thinks we'll lose the game, not because we've made a mistake or not because we haven't scored, which is what a normal person would say. They're thinking kind of, no, this is the reason, it's not the person that made the mistake, it's because he had no options on the ball because people weren't in the right position for stuff like that. So he's so in detail, so in depth. So you kind of have to be on it at all times, training and games. You need to know where you need to be, know where you need to, and stuff. But that's what we're doing well. That's what we play so well. That's what we do so well. That's what we compete with bigger teams where people might think that they should walk over us or they should beat us and stuff like that. That's what we do so well. It's because of our foundation, our structure, and what we believe in, and we all buy in, and that's what we do well.
Is that hard for you as well? Because you're one of the most expressive players, I think, in the Premier League. Like, I love to watch you just drift past people, very powerful runner, but when you've got to be in a certain role, you've got to be in a certain position, that must be tough for a player like you. Yeah,
it can be, but at the same time, the managers probably wants me to do it more than I do it, and that's probably a bit bizarre for me to say, because if I've done it 3 times in a game and I've lost it 3 times in a row, and then the next time I pass it, he'll absolutely hammer me for not doing it again.
Okay.
So that's the good thing about him in terms of, he wants a structure, he wants a thing, but if a certain player's playing in a certain position, I don't want you to play like the person that's not playing. I want you to play like you.
Yeah.
So we can adapt to personnel and who's playing, and that's how we adapt, and that's what I think's the key for me anyway. He wants me to play to my strengths, even though the other player that might play in another game, his strengths aren't running with the ball, his strengths are tight in 1-2 link-up play, which is where mine might not be. So it's just about adapting, and that's what I think is so good, and that's why I think kind of everyone can shine if they buy into this manager, because he will play to your strengths. He's not going to kill nothing from you. He's not going to take anything, ask you to do something that you're not comfortable with, which I think is really good.
Final question then, obviously you're 21st in 2024. Where do you think you're going to be? You're going to try and hit that top 10?
Top 10 is the
I don't know
target.
what-
Top 10. Top 10.
Let's
Yeah,
go, top
thank you.
man.